أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم إن ربك للذين هاجروا من بعد ما فتنوا ثم جاهدوا وصبروا إن ربك من بعدها لغفور رحيم يوم تأتي كل نفس تجادل عن نفسها وتوفى كل نفس ما عملت وهم لا يظلمون وضرب الله مثلا قرية كانت آمنة مطمئنة يأتيها رزقها رغدا من كل مكان فكفرت بأنعم الله فأذاقها الله لباس الجوع والخوف بما كانوا يصنعون ولقد جاءهم رسول منهم فكذبوه فأخذهم العذاب وهم ظالمون فكلوا مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا واشكروا نعمة الله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. Today inshallah we're starting from ayah number 110 of Surah An-Nahl. Last week we talked about people who are tested with their iman, and maybe a person threatens them with death and forces them to disown Islam and just say that I'm not a Muslim anymore. So the ruling of that was mentioned last week, that as long as a person's heart is mutma'in with iman, وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ, then in that case that person is not held accountable for what he says with his tongue. So today's ayah talks along the same lines of those people that are tested by these kinds of situations while they're living in a non-Muslim environment. And this is actually very, very relevant for us today, that how we could be tested and how we could go through difficulty, how we could go through hardship. So if a person falls prey and becomes weak in that type of situation, what would be the ruling in that case? So this is what this ayah is talking about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ثُمَّ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لِلَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا مِن بَعْدِ مَا فُتِنُوا ثُمَّ جَاهَدُوا وَصَبَرُوا إِنَّ رَبَّكَ مِن بَعْدِهَا لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. There are many rules and guidelines we can derive from this verse. And one of them is that if a person cannot practice his Islam in a certain environment, in a certain locality, he has to leave that locality. This is the rule. And this is again mentioned in Surah An-Nisa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes how the angels come and collect the soul of a person. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ ظَالِمِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَالُوا فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ. Those people who are wrongdoers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to them, or the angel of death says to them, فِيمَا كُنْتُمْ, what were you doing? What were you involved in? They will say, كُنَّا مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We were oppressed on the earth. We could not do anything. We could not practice our Islam because of the fact that we were oppressed. So the response will be, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً فَتُهَاجِرُوا فِيهَا. Wasn't the earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala vast so that you could have migrated in it? You could have left the environment that you were in and went to an environment in which you could freely practice your religion. So this is what you should have done. And then after that, Allah says that they will be punished, and then there is an exception after that. إِلَّا الْمُسْتَضَعَفِينَ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ وَالنِّسَاءِ وَالْوِلْدَانِ لَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ حِيلًا. Those people that were oppressed, children, weak, they could not leave that environment. فَأُولَٰئِكَ عَسَى اللَّهُ أَن يَعْفُوَ عَنْهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them. But the biggest point that we can derive from that is hijrah. So Allah says here, ثُمَّ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لِلَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا. Indeed those people, for those people, indeed your Lord for those people that did hijrah, they migrated. مِن بَعْدِ مَا فُتِنُوا. After they were tested. The word fatan, it is exposure of the gold to extreme heat, so much so that the pure gold is separated from the impurity. This is what that original word was used for. So fitna basically, it is a test for a person. It tests a person's purity of character, purity of Iman, purity of his conviction, his connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is tested. That's why it's called fitna. So after they were tested, meaning the test that we were mentioning in last week's lesson, a person comes up to them and puts a sword to their throat, a gun to their head, and tells them, you have to leave Islam. The person, to save his life, he says, okay, I leave Islam. But after that, obviously his heart is mutmain, he has to try to get out of that environment in which he cannot practice his Iman, his Islam. ثُمَّ جَاهَدُوا وَصَبَرُوا. Then they strived, meaning they made hijrah and then they strived, they propagated the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they strived upon themselves, correcting their Iman, strengthening their Iman, وَصَبَرُوا, and they remained steadfast. The word sabr is, misunderstood by many people. Sabr, it has a very broad meaning. And the best meaning of sabr that we can derive is actually steadfastness. This is what sabr truly means. There are actually 4 different types of sabr. I won't go into that right now. But they remain steadfast. ثُمَّ جَاهَدُوا وَصَبَرُوا إِنَّ رَبَّكَ مِنْ بَعْدِهَا لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Indeed, your Lord, after that fitna, after that trial and tribulation, He is indeed Ghafur Rahim. He is forgiving and merciful. So basically, whatever weakness they had during the time of turbulence, during that time of problems, during the time of test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving after that. Okay, so like I said, in an environment where a person is finding it difficult to practice Islam, a person can become weak. He can, lose his character. He can lose the morals that Islam teaches. But the encouraging thing that we can get from this verse is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands our human weakness. And after going through that difficulty, we must become stronger and we must remain steadfast on our deen and not just become wishy-washy about our religion. And then when we do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He forgives us for the times that we do slip up. So this is what this verse is telling us. And when do we need the maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The next ayah describes the ahwal and the horrors of the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ تَأْتِي كُلُّ نَفْسٍ تُجَادِلُ عَنْ نَفْسِهَا. On the day that every soul will fight on his own behalf. So this is again what will happen on the Day of Judgment is a person is not going to be worried about his sons, he's not going to be worried about his wife, he's not going to be worried about his parents, he's going to be worried about himself. And that's why it says that he's going to be making excuses on his own behalf. He's going to be arguing on his own behalf with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is the argument? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to say to him, did you commit shirk? No, I didn't commit shirk. Did you commit sins? No, I didn't commit sins. There are many, many verses in the Quran that talk about this discussion that will take place between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the accused when a person will simply say, no, I didn't do what you're accusing me of. So every soul will argue on his own behalf. But what will happen? وَتُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Every soul will be completely given according to the deeds that he did, وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ, and nobody is going to be oppressed and nobody is going to be shortchanged. Everybody will get what they deserve by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if a person is under the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will get more than he actually deserves. But at the very minimum, the punishment will be given for those people that did wrong according to their sin, and the people that did good, they will be given according to their deeds. مَا عَمِلَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Nobody is going to be wrong on the Day of Judgment. So on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to paint a picture of when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be Ghafur Rahim, when He's going to be forgiving and merciful, when we actually need it the most. The horrors of this world or the difficulties of this world, they are nothing in comparison to the horrors of the hereafter. So Allah is actually promising that a person who remains steadfast on his religion and he becomes steadfast on his faith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward him immensely on the day that he actually needs the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the lesson we learn is that we must remain steadfast, we must continue to work on our faith, and we should never lose hope. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then describes how He gives blessings to so many different types of nations. And when the people, they reject those blessings and they disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happens to them? Many scholars, they say that this verse which is going to be recited is about Makkatul Mukarramah itself, and there will be certain indications of that. So let me translate inshallah and explain as we go along. وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives an example. The word ضَرَبَ in this context, it refers to the stamping of a coin. When the stamp, when in the old days they used to make coins, and even today, when a coin is minted, there's a mint. Mint means the place where specifically coins and notes are made of currency. Okay, so they are made in such a way that they cannot be forged. So the stamp that makes the mold, which makes the actual coins, that concept is known as darb. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives an example. Why the word darb is used? When that example is given to make us understand something, it becomes imprinted on a person's heart. So if I give you an example, if I just tell you something, that might not give you a complete picture. But if I give you with an example, that example makes the actual situation get imprinted on a person's heart. That's why the word daraba is used. ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically imprints an example. He puts this stamp of an example on a person. And mathal basically means to give a similarity of something so that a person understands better. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives an example of a qaryah. Qaryah literally means village, but here it refers to any town, any locality, any city can be called qaryah. كانت آمنة مطمئنة. It was in the state of aman, it was in the state of peace and mutma'in. This is one of the biggest blessings that a person can have: safety and security. If you can imagine that a person lives in a locality which is always burgled, people are breaking into people's houses all the time, is a person going to be happy? Is going to sleep at peace at night in that kind of situation? Or if a person, nowadays you have so many places that are war zones, Syria, and you have Iraq, and you have situations going on in Palestine. Can a person sleep at night peacefully thinking that a bomb might just come through my window at any minute, killing me and my children? So the fact that a person has aman, this is a huge blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ, he said in a hadith, "Man asbaha minkum aminan fi sirbih, mu'afan fi jasadi, indahu qutu yawmih, faka'annama hizat lahu dunya bihadafiriha." A person who wakes up in the morning and he is at peace in his family, he has aman in his family, and he is mu'afan fi jasadi, he has no sickness in his body, and he has the sustenance for that day only the sustenance for one day. The Prophet ﷺ says at the end of the hadith, فَكَأَنَّمَا حِيزَتْ لَهُ الدُّنْيَا بِحَذَافِيرِهَا. It's as if all of the dunya and whatever its blessings are have been accumulated for him and been given to him. So the first thing that was mentioned in the hadith is aman. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that biggest blessing is aman and itminan. Itminan means peace of heart. So a person can have all the the surroundings that are supposedly giving him peace of heart, but he still can be without peace in his heart, right? There are so many rich people, they cannot sleep at night. They have to still take antidepressants to kind of get through the day or to get to sleep at night, right? They have all the luxuries that you can imagine. So yes, they have the security system, nobody can break into their house. And yes, they would have the security, but still they're not mutmain in their heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put both of those blessings together here. Yes, outward security and inner peace. These are two different things. And when both of them are combined, this is the huge blessing. The next blessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, يَأْتِيهَا رِزْقُهَا رَغَدًا مِنْ كُلِّ مَكَانٍ. The city or this locality or this village, its rizq comes from all different locations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about Makkah al-Mukarramah in another ayah, أَوَلَمْ نُمَكِّنْ لَهُمْ حَرَمًا آمِنًا يُجْبَى إِلَيْهِ ثَمَرَاتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ رِزْقًا مِنْ لَدُنَّا. Didn't we make haram, the haram meaning the area, the sanctified area, didn't we make it a peaceful place for them? يُجْبَى إِلَيْهِ ثَمَرَاتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. The thamarat and fruits of every single locality, every single place comes to the Makkah al-Mukarramah. And if you've ever been to Makkah, surrounding it, all desert. Nothing there, nothing grows there in Makkah al-Mukarramah except maybe those places which are artificially, they grow grass there and basically, then they cultivate things. But other than that, it's impossible for things to grow there. But in Makkah al-Mukarramah, every single kind of fruit, every single kind of cuisine, every single kind of thing that you want to eat is available for you to eat even to this day. And this was the case even in the days of the Prophet ﷺ, because Mecca was a hub for trade. People used to come and trade there from the north and the south. The people of Mecca also used to go trading north and south. And li'ila fi Quraysh, the word, the surah Quraysh, it describes رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ, the travel of the winter and the summer. In the summer they used to go north and trade in Jerusalem, in Palestine, Bilad al-Sham. And in the winter they used to go south and trade in Yemen. So this was what is meant by رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. And at the end of the surah, وَآمَنَهُم مِّنْ خَوْفٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them aman from any kind of khawf, any kind of fear. So here, this is one of the proofs that some people say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually talking about Makkah al-Mukarramah. That يَأْتِيهَا رِزْقُهَا رَغَدًا مِنْ كُلِّ مَكَانٍ. Its rizq and sustenance came to it from all locations. فَكَفَرَتْ بِأَنْعُمِ اللَّهِ. It rejected the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It rejected, how did it reject? Rejected or was ungrateful for the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened? فَأَذَاقَهَا اللَّهُ لِبَاسَ الْجُوعِ وَالْخَوْفِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this village taste the clothing of hunger and the clothing of fear because of the fact what they did. This actually was a result. This is actually what happened to Makkah al-Mukarramah. The Prophet ﷺ, after being put through so much hardship from the people of Makkah, he made a dua against them. And he made the dua that Allah give them the hardship and the sineen, the years that Yusuf ﷺ had to endure. Meaning in the days of Yusuf ﷺ, there was famine, there was drought, and for 7 years there was nothing growing. So the Prophet ﷺ made dua for them, and ultimately this is what happened. They were afflicted with drought and famine. So Allah says that they rejected, or they were ungrateful for the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَذَاقَهُ اللَّهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them taste لِبَاسَ الْجُوعِ وَالْخَوْفِ, the clothing of hunger and fear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word clothing of hunger. And where is hunger? Where do we feel hunger? We feel it inside our stomach, right? But when a person becomes more hungry, what happens? He starts to starve. And then what happens? The body attacks the fat and uses up the fat that is on the body. A person loses all the fat. Then when the fat is finished, then the hunger starts attacking the meat, and the meat starts to diminish. And what is left is basically a walking skeleton which only has skin, no flesh, nothing. You've probably seen pictures of starving people. It's very apparent that the person has been starving for a long time because his bones are all showing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word libas al-ju', the hunger, the clothing of hunger. What is libas? Libas is something that you wear on your whole body. So libas al-ju', meaning the clothing of hunger. He is so hungry that you can see it all over his body. Everything is showing, the bones are showing. So libas al-ju' wal khawf, and the clothing of fear also. You know, when a person is afraid, it's in his heart that a person is afraid, or inside that he's afraid. But when a person is really afraid, you can see it in his face. The eyes become wide, the person starts sweating, person starts shaking, becomes pale and yellow. So again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word libas al-khawf, meaning the clothing of fear can be seen on this person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them taste the hunger, made them taste the fear, bima kanu yasna'un, because of what they did. So ultimately, like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala afflicted them with this hunger and hardship and difficulty because of what they did to the Prophet ﷺ, and because of the dua that the Prophet ﷺ made against them. Allah says, وَلَقَدْ, and like I said also, the wording is general. It doesn't really actually mention Makkatul Mukarramah, and the rule in the Quran is al-ibratu li'umum al-lafz la li khusus al-mawarid. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses general terms so that we can understand that the same thing will apply to any locality that rejects the message of Islam until the Day of Judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it its blessings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it everything, but ultimately, if they continue to reject the message of Islam, then the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can come at any time. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْهُمْ فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَخَذَهُمُ الْعَذَابُ وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. And indeed, a prophet from amongst them came to them. And this description of the Prophet ﷺ is mentioned throughout the Quran, and in all cases actually, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a prophet, He sent the prophet from amongst His own people, from amongst the same people, so that they knew him from before, they knew his character, they knew what he was about, they knew that he wasn't a liar, and he could speak exactly the same language as them, so that to make them understand. So the same thing applied to the Prophet ﷺ. 40 years he was a sadiq, he's al-amin, he's trusted by everybody, and he is from amongst them. He's not like a stranger that came from outside and claimed to be a prophet, but he was from amongst them. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَهُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْهُمْ. A prophet came from amongst them. فَكَذَّبُوهُ. They rejected him. فَأَخَذَهُمُ الْعَذَابُ. And the punishment grabbed them. It's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word, as if adhab has been given its own kind of mind and its own brain, that the punishment itself went to look for those people and grabbed them. فَأَخَذَهُمُ الْعَذَابُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that punishment grabbed them, punished them, took them. وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. While they were doing wrong. So again, this refers back to the starvation that they had to endure because of the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. And finally, the last ayah for today, فَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَاشْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the whole of humanity. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you so much. Night and day, Allah is giving you. He's giving you food, He's giving you drink, He's giving you safety, He's giving you the air to breathe, which is clean so you can breathe. So use all of these blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the same time, be grateful to Allah, and gratitude means that be obedient to Him, believe in Him, and believe in the hereafter. Work for the hereafter itself. فَكُلُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ. So consume, eat from that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you as sustenance. Eat from the rizq that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Halal and tayyiba. Eat halal and tayyib. Halal and tayyib. Two things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here. Not necessarily everything halal is also tayyib. Remember that. Okay? We have to have halal and also tayyib. We should eat pure things, things which are good for us. If possible, get things which are untainted by preservatives and all the rest of the colorings and everything, the processing that takes place that destroys our food. Tayyib, it has to be pure. Washkuru ni'matallahi, and be grateful for the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessing. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, If indeed you worship Him, be grateful to Him. And gratitude, like I said, gratitude entails that we are obedient to Him, we listen to what He says, we accept the message of the Prophet ﷺ, and we do not deny any of it, we do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the true essence of gratitude and shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With that we finish inshallah, and we'll continue next week. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand and practice what has been said and heard.